Hi everyone. I wanted to come here today and share with you a little, maybe go a little bit deeper into my life as an artist and how I got here and my journey to this point. And I know that on this channel I do a lot of sharing of my artwork and processes and whatnot, but there's something behind it all that is really important for me to share, and so I'm gonna try to do that today. It's hard to be vulnerable like this. Usually I let my art speak, but anyway, so when I was like in high school, teenager, I really didn't know what I wanted to do with my life, like probably most teenagers. But one thing I knew for sure, that I wanted to be a wife and a mom. I don't know, that was just sort of innately there. And I didn't know what I wanted to do, but I know in the 80s, you grew up in the 80s, and it's all about go to college, get a job, you know, the typical, you know, this is how you, I guess, identify who you are as a person, by what you do. And I had taken a photography class in high school, and I had a wonderful teacher who really encouraged me, and it was really the first time that anybody really said to me, hey, you know, I think you have a gift here, you should pursue it. And my parents, you know, like, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? So I thought, I guess I'm gonna go to photography college. And my mom was happy that I just decided something, and then my dad, who was a photographer, was very excited, and provided me with all my equipment and everything, and he was super excited about that. But I pursued photography in college, and when I came out of college, I searched for work, and you know, deep down, I still wanted to get married and have kids. So that desire didn't really go away, but I'm, you know, struggling. I worked at 3 different photography studios, and I did all their black and white film and printing, and it turns out, you know, I'm pretty good at that, so they trusted me with their film. At the age of 21, that's when I met the man of my dreams, and we dated for 4 years before we got married. And I didn't know God. I didn't know God at all in my life. So I really felt like I had to prove myself, just like that, you know, you go to college, you get a job, becomes your identity, you prove yourself. And I really felt like I had to prove myself and get a good job and make a certain amount of money. And before I was even worthy of somebody marrying me. I mean, that's how far I took it. And I think maybe that could resonate with some of you as well. But I really just wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. So, but we got married, and I was working various jobs, and I had a really good sales job, and I was actually really good at it, and top salesperson in the entire San Francisco Bay Area, whatever, but it really didn't mean anything to me, really, because I really didn't like what I was doing at all, because I wanted to be at home. So we had a couple of kids, and at that point, after the second, is when daycare was exceeding what I was making. And so my husband's like, all right, you can stay home. So that's when I started living my dream of being a wife, homemaker, mother. And it was wonderful. But the longing to create was still there. Like, photography was the thing that's when that first teacher that inspired me, that was still there. And I still wanted to create and longed to create. And at the time, I didn't know where that was coming from. Coincidentally, we lived in California, so we were avid campers, still are. And every weekend we were off to the mountains, and I had my camera, my film was always black and white. At that time, I shot with a Rolleiflex twin lens, which is what I used in college, and it was my favorite camera. And when we were in the mountains, like, I just felt this peace. It was like peace in the chaos. Like, we lived in the Bay Area of California. It was trafficky. We had 2 kids. And so whenever we went away to the mountains, which was just about every weekend over the summertime, every weekend, it was only a 4-hour drive for us, so easy. So we would always go to the mountains, and it really spurred my desire to photograph. And I was always photographing nature, the trees and rocks. I mean, everything inspired me. It was just like, like I felt like I was, like, it was my happy place. And I have notes because this is so much. Okay, so then I started to photograph our children, which, I mean, I was always doing that when they were little and stuff, but it became like, maybe I can actually make a little money on the side photographing families. So my children were like my little models, and then I would take little samples into children's stores of the work that I do. And just out of the home, I started growing this little portrait photography business, all black and white film, all hand printed. I did everything myself. And it was actually going really well. And my husband, he was in engineering, and he really was kind of burned out with that and wanted to pursue something else. So I convinced him to move back to Florida, where our parents are. And so that's what we did. We made that shift, and he left his engineering behind, and he actually picked something that is near and dear to his heart. He got a job at a high-end audio company, and which is actually what he's doing himself now. We have our own business with that for 17 years. So anyway, I digress. But that's what we did. And let's see here. So we're back in Florida, and I had built my photography business out in California. So I decided, well, let's just keep doing it here. And so that's what I did, and it grew exponentially. I mean, apparently people love black and white film, that whole niche. It was special, it was different. And I did my own framing. I did really cool framing in like old windows and stuff like that. And so I had a really good clientele. And I mean, and I did have a couple of years of triple digits. And so it was doing really well. I really was in that mindset still that I have to perform. I have to make a certain amount of money to actually be valuable. And I pushed myself like really, really hard. And in that time, we had 2 more kids. So now we have 4 kids. And so I was running the photography business, taking care of 4 kids, running the house. I was still doing all of the responsibilities, but then I was tacking on this business that I kept growing, and it kept growing and growing. But anyway, what happened was I started to burn out, and started to think, wow, something's really missing. And of course, still, I did not know God. And I was almost 40. And then there was this big crash. The crash of the economy, housing, stock market. I'm sure a lot of you remember 2008. that's when things really started to break down in my life. I was unhappy. I came to the realization that I was unhappy. Once again, I had no idea where true happiness comes from. I thought it came from having stuff and having a good job and making good money and being able to have a nice car and have the house of your dreams, which we had on the water. And when we had the cars, we had, we had everything that we wanted, but I was not happy. And so, yeah, I was searching in all the wrong places for what only God can provide. And right here, right there, in my brokenness, is where everything started crumbling around me. My marriage, my career, we were losing our house. We had 4 kids, and they were from the age of 13 down to 3 years old. And then my husband lost his job in all of that. And it all happened at once. And that's when we both really woke up. I really woke up. And that's when I found Jesus. I was a complete wreck. And I didn't even know how I got there. I honestly didn't know how I got there. But that's where he found me. And in that brokenness, he began to pick up the pieces and he began to put me back together. He gave me a new heart, and that is just what he did. And my photography business suddenly meant nothing to me. I wanted to just be done with it. I didn't want to do it anymore because it caused me so much stress. And I was good at it. I really was. I just wanted to pursue a deeper and greater calling than that for me. There was just this longing in my heart. And it's not that having a photography studio is bad. It's wonderful if you can have a photography studio. People need beautiful portraits of their families. It's a wonderful thing. But for me, I felt like I was being called into something deeper. And my heart just wasn't in the right place when I had everything that I had. It was just a pursuit of an identity that wasn't really real. It was just something that I believed that wasn't really true about myself. But anyway, so I knew that I needed to let go of the photography studio, but it was really tough because we were in a really tough financial pinch because we were losing our house. We literally cut every single bill that we possibly could. We had to give up health insurance and had to learn to trust, and I had to learn to take care of my family in a way that I had to kind of become her own little doctor and nutritionist and all of that. And so anyway, so I had this just this deep longing in my heart to create something, but I didn't know how. And all I knew how to do was take really fantastic portraits in black and white film. And let me see, because I'm losing my place here. Here we go. Oh, okay. So when all these things happened and everything was just destroyed around me, I found my faith. And then I asked God, I said, God, what is it that you have for me? I have this something in my heart that I want to express, but I don't know how. I don't know how to get it out. Help me to create what's in my heart. And I just asked him that. And he gave me dreams. I started having these incredibly vivid dreams. We also were going to church. We found a loving church, and I was learning all about God, and I was having all these dreams, like really profound dreams that they're not just your head working things out. Like they're things that you never even dreamed that you would even think of having. And it was like it was a message, and I deeply wanted to create a photo of my dreams. So that's where it started. And but as a film photographer, dreams are really complicated, and I wasn't going to do that with film. At least, I wasn't going to do that with film. But so what I did, I know that with all my heart that God wants us to become skilled. Whatever it is, the calling that He has on your life, He wants you to become skilled, and He will give you ways to do that. And I asked Him to help me create what was in my heart, and I had a particular dream in mind that I wanted to create. And I didn't know how. So I was working with this local museum on a project, and coincidentally it was called Alter Ego, which was really strange. But I met this woman. She came up to me and introduced herself, and she shared with me she was a photographer and asked me for coffee, and we became like the best of friends. And she knew Photoshop, and before I knew it, she was teaching me layer masking, and nothing too complicated, but how to create what I wanted to create. And so I practiced and practiced and practiced. I mean, I knew nothing of Photoshop. I mean, I had only had a digital camera for a couple of years, and all I knew how to do was take pictures with it. I didn't know how to edit or do I didn't know Photoshop, like, at all. And so she taught me like the very basics to do what I needed to do, and I just kept practicing and practicing. And you can't just do Photoshop intuitively unless you do it. So that's what I did, and I had this passion to do it. And I was always praying. I could always hear God with me. I knew He was with me. I knew He was with me at my computer when the first image came together. It was called Angel. And it was this beautiful pairing of a portrait of my daughter floating in a pool, merged with a river. And then I put these little angel wings just underneath her, beneath the water. You could just slightly see them. And when I sat at my computer and I saw it, like, because when you're doing layer masking, you're like, you're hitting the multiply, the different buttons to see what it does when you blend images together. And it was just like boom, and it was just like, oh my gosh. And I cried. I sat there and I cried, and I said, God, how can this be? How can this be that you would do this? And it was so beautiful. And I just would tell Him, this is so beautiful, God. This is what I want to do. This is what's in my heart. This is what I'm trying to get out. And I would always just talk to Him, and I'd say, hey, what do you think about this? Oh, what about this one? What about pairing this, this tree with this picture? And that's how it was. And anyway, it was just an amazing process. And I mean, it is everything behind my work. So of course my subjects were my girls, because we were at home. They're my girls. They mean everything to me. So I would just say, hey, let's do some pictures. And I would take pictures of them. And then I would have many landscape type pictures from when we were in California. And I just merged them together, and I kept dreaming. God kept giving me the most incredible, profound dreams that I knew were meant for me, and I couldn't wait to go to bed at night. um, yeah, so it was amazing. And but now I really want to talk about this. Um, there is a dark side to answering your call for God's glory. It's called opposition. Anything that is good, the enemy will try to destroy, undermine, discourage. Do not fall. Pray. I was really under attack. I had a huge battle ahead of me that I wasn't even aware of. But I belonged to God. I clung to Him. I worshiped Him. I continued to stay in His Word. I continued to pray. I journaled. I created. I did not stop. And through all of that, He healed my heart and He healed all of my brokenness. He opened my eyes to wrong thinking, to lies that I believed, opinions I believed, and He gave me His truth. The reality of this world that we're in, that we live in, as I sit here looking at my computer, my desk, my printer, His world, the spiritual world, is more real than this to me. So, and through this battle, there was still a battle for my marriage. The enemy wanted that to be done with. But I knew if I stuck close to God, He would take care of it. I would have days when all the kids were at school and I would have all my homemaking things done. And I just spent entire mornings almost every single day with God. I played worship music every day. I prayed. I sat in silence. In those times, I created the most artwork. Just about every piece of artwork that I have made has come from that place, communing with God in my art. To me, I was just full of excitement and wonder and creativity and longing, and I just wanted to make beauty. It was all about beauty, and it is continued to be all about beauty. Creating something beautiful because He is beautiful. I know this is long, but it's kind of a long story. I didn't realize until later that the very first image that He gave me prompted an entire collection of work. It was called Dream Synergy, and I do have them all on my website if you want to check it out. But one day, and it took about 2 years, I was just creating and creating and creating portraits of my daughters and pictures of California and merging them together. I started venturing out where I live here and doing nature pictures here to blend, because it was all, it's about human and nature and our divine connection to God. And I use myself in some of the pictures too, if I was in a pinch. And so I sat my oldest daughter down. I had made a print of all the images from this collection, and it was from 2012 to 2014 that I created them all. And I laid them all out and I said, help me to put these in order. And she helped me put them in order. And she was about 14 at the time. And as I looked at them, I could not believe that it was like a mirror of my own healing journey. Like, I just sat there stunned and in awe of how wonderful God is in healing our hearts. And I can do another video about that, specifically about the project where I talk about the images from this collection and what they mean. I'll do that. Please comment if you'd like me to do that. But I continued on from 2012 when it started, and now here we are in 2025, and I've created over 12 bodies of work, and it was like these floodgates just opened up creatively, and it's because of my relationship with God fully and wholeheartedly. It's not me. Yes, I have skills. Yes, I've had to work toward those skills, but there's so much more to it. I do really want to get more into that also, into the depth of my work and what it means. I also wanted to say that my husband and I are coming up on 30 years of marriage, so trust in God. He can do miracles. And it's been really hard for me to put myself out there like this, in this type of vulnerability. Like I said, I usually just let my photographs speak, and whatever they speak to somebody, that's great. But over the years, I have felt like there's something more. I need to do something more than this. And so teaching has kind of just kept coming into my mind, you know, to teach what I know. But the problem that I've had is that I don't want to just teach like skills of this and that. I mean, I can do that, but I feel like there's something deeper to it. And the reason that I struggled with it, how do I explain this? There's something in my work that you can't see with your eyes, but perhaps you can sense it when you look at it. And that's what I really wanted to teach. I really wanted to teach where all of my work was coming from, and I really didn't know how to do that. So I haven't done it. And so it's been, I think like 2016, I was planning like a workshop, and it's 2025 and I still haven't done it. I've done little things here and there, but really not much. But I just recently realized that I'm not going to get there unless I start talking about it. So this is like my first step, to just start talking about it, see where it goes, and maybe one day it will lead to some kind of wonderful creative retreat up in the mountains, maybe, or something. But if anyone's resonating with that, let me know. Also, I wanted to share this amazing dream that I had that kind of coincides with why I've come to this realization that I just need to start talking. So I had this dream, and sometimes, I don't know if you guys do this, but sometimes I go to bed and I'm praying and I fall asleep and I'm praying all night. Like, it just doesn't stop. And I had one of those nights, and I woke up, and I didn't wake up. I did not wake up. I was dreaming. But in my dream, I had this realization that, and I said it in my dream. I said, you can only, let me see where it is here. Oh my gosh. You can only give away what you have been given. And in my dream, it was like, oh my goodness, that's right. Like, it was like this epiphany. But in that moment, like this intense energy just came into my head, and it just went, ooh, and it filled my entire body all the way down to my feet, and it just flowed and flowed and flowed, and it was like this humming energy. And I woke up and I was like, okay, what is that? What does that mean? Maybe the thing that I spoke was truth, and so what I've been given, I need to give away. So I've been wrestling with that, and figuring out how to do that in a way that would honor God, and wouldn't just be this skill, that skill. I mean, anyone can develop skills for things, but for me, doing my photography goes way beyond just taking a pretty picture. There's a depth to it that's what I really want to be able to teach. So anyway, that's why I'm here talking about it. So I will have more videos like this, yes. I'll continue to share my art, my collections, my projects, my photo shoots in nature, darkroom printing, film processing, and all of that stuff. And I'll continue to share all of this kind of stuff as well. But this is something that I know some people might really want to hear, and I might end up creating a little sub-channel for this type of stuff. But I am really, really thankful that I'm able to share what God has put on my heart, and I'm grateful that there is social media to be able to have a platform to share this to more people. And I do know that whenever there's something good about something, there's always the bad. And I know that there's a lot of negative stuff on social media, and there's a lot of people out there that just want to destroy what you're doing, especially if you're doing something good. So that's probably been another thing that maybe has been holding me back a little bit, is that vulnerability and the attackers coming at me. But I can handle that. So that is my plan, and I'm really excited about this, and I will be back again with more details on certain projects and what they mean to me, and the things I went through and all of that. I really appreciate all of you for watching, and I will be back, and please subscribe. It really helps me to get these videos out to more people. Obviously, everyone knows that when you're doing a YouTube channel, you really want to reach as many people as you can. So I really, really appreciate that, and I will continue to put out more content as time goes on. And thank you so much for watching and for following my channel. See you soon.